have you ever been in a position where you've had to confront someone about something sensitive? Like, this will be a good one, B.O.
Yes.
Lucky you.
Not well. Lucky's not the word.
Tell us a little bit about it then. Why did you have to tell them in the first place?
Because it was a small office with no air conditioning. That's why.
No, well, I didn't mean that exactly, but yeah, okay, fine. Fine.
Because, I mean, the guy was a friend, and he would come in sometimes, and, I mean, he was carrying a bit of extra weight. Just trying to think of he wasn't, like, massive. And he would walk in to the office, and it would take him best part of an hour. And fair enough, the guy, worked up a bit of a sweat. It's not, it wasn't all downhill. And one day myself and a colleague had to,
let him know.
Just say, look, maybe you should just carry some extra deodorant around and stuff.
And he was he didn't get upset.
And that's the thing. No, but that's the thing. I think we weren't being vindictive or anything like that.
What I'm interested in is, why did you even have to bring out? Did he not put on deodorant before he left the house, or did you? Obviously, I guess you wouldn't know that.
I guess he did. Maybe he did. Maybe the guy just had extra smelly sweat. It's just one of those things.
I can understand how that could happen.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if I'm rolling into work, or I'm on the bus, or the tube, or I've come into work and there's another work person there who is smelling none too fresh at the beginning of the day, that pisses me off. Because I'm thinking, you're not doing something hygiene-wise that you should be. Something's wrong. You shouldn't be coming into work at the first minute and smelling as if you've been here the whole day. And I find it difficult to believe that if you smell, for example, and I can smell you, that you can't smell yourself. I don't understand how you can't smell yourself. Or at the very least, if you can't smell yourself, why are you not attending to your hygiene in a way where you've become nose blind to the situation? It's gross. You have a choice. You do the very British thing and you're polite and you don't say anything. In your scenario, you managed a middle ground there, which is good. But usually the British thing is to
just grin and bear it.
Yeah, and be polite by not saying anything to upset anyone. Most people don't say anything because it's awkward.
I think there you have to kind of look at it from the point of view of, do you want to try and be polite about it, and then when they get arsy about it, then you become aggressive, Because if you kind of say to someone, I don't know how you would start that conversation.
Exactly, this is what I'm saying. How do you ease into something like that?
Because I could talk to him because he was my mate.
But what if it's someone that you're not so close to? This is what I'm saying.
I don't know, because I've never bothered.
If it's a friend that's like, oh, dude, some deodorant, take a breath mint or whatever.
Hang on. So if it's a breath thing, it's much easier, trust me, because then you can just go, do you want a chewing gum? Or do you want a mint? Or do you want a Tic Tac? That's all right, because you can work that in a way as you get them out. You have one, and then you say to someone, oh, would you like one?
And then what happens when they say, no, I'm okay?
Then you say, no, seriously, do you want one? It's fine. Rather than
that's subtle.
Rather than you're going like, spray under the arm. Oh, would you like some deodorant?
I've had to do that. I've had to do that. I mean, there were some guys that I used to roll with who weren't big on deodorant, and I would say, look, man, you stink. And people would call me an arsehole. I guess I was being an arsehole.
I think one way you could do it is you put a little bit of,
Tried that. We were in the gym. I tried that. We were in the gym. This guy's working out. And we're working out together. He's spotting you. He's partnering you, whatever it happens to be. And you think, this guy stinks. But you don't want to say, this guy stinks, because that sounds like, it makes you sound like an arsehole. So you think, okay. So, and, oh, no, I'm okay, man. Right. I now have a choice. Either I'm polite and I don't say anything, because I've tried and it hasn't worked. Yeah. So what do? Okay. You know what? No, I'm not gonna hold my tongue. I shouldn't. This is bullshit. Do you stink? You need some deodorant. Take some.
Yeah.
And funny enough, they wouldn't get upset about it. It's really. I thought.
No, but I think. But in that,
it's cool.
I think there again, it's like you didn't do it in an aggressive manner. And it was just.
It was hard hitting though. It was truthful and it was honest. But it wasn't supposed to be vindictive.
But then,
if you called me an asshole, I'd kind of understand.
It really depends on the person that you're talking to, because people, and I know this from personal experience, can get upset about the slightest thing, and it is sometimes up to you to judge
how you're going to broach the subject.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you don't know the person and they get upset, then there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, you just apologise and still hand them deodorant. But you know,
there's no reason anyone in the developed world should be in a place where you have to tell them anything about hygiene. Don't make me talk about that. Don't make me go there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So many times I've been on a bus or I've been on a tube and you're sitting next to someone, or you're not even next. You're sitting in the same car or a different end of the bus to someone who stinks, and you think, I wonder if someone's going to say something. So what do people do? No, we're all going to just grin and bear it. And you open up the window if you're lucky enough to be next to a window that can open up. And why? Why do we have to do this? A few years ago, I was on the bus, and this homeless guy. In fact, you know what? I don't even know if he was homeless. He smelled as if he was homeless. That's why I say he was homeless. But he might not have been homeless. In any event, he stunk. He stunk. And all of us, good, stiff upper lip Brits, we sat there. And no one said anything, and we were polite, and everyone pretended as they weren't gagging for air whilst this guy was on the bus. And he looked homeless. He dressed homeless. He smelt homeless. But he might not have been homeless. He might have just been a really disgusting, greasy guy. Don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, long day's work, you've been out of the house 8, 10, 11, 12 hours. You're a bit worse for wear. The deodorant is losing the battle. I'm not going to give you grief about that, dude. It's at the end of the day, it's 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. We're pressed up against each other on the tube or on the bus. Kind of get it. First thing in the morning, you should be fresh as a daisy, shouldn't you?
But, mate, I tell you that now, that is not how it is.
Why the fuck not? This is what I'm saying to you. I shouldn't be debating with myself, with someone I have to work with, about, do I ruin my professional relationship with this person for the rest of the time we work together because they're never going to forgive me over the fact that I brought out the fact that they aren't taking care of their personal hygiene because they feel I've embarrassed them. Don't put me in that position. Soap your fucking armpits, put the deodorant on, brush your fucking teeth with toothpaste. That's the worst.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning breath. It's like you haven't brushed your teeth this morning. What the fuck is wrong with you?
That's true.
The air's coming on my face. You feel the heat behind it. It's like, you stink.
I mean, that is that brushing teeth is something missing. People who don't brush their teeth, that is something that I cannot forgive that.
I can't abide it.
No, like you say, leave the house feeling fresh. You know, new day. Today will be better somehow. I don't know why, but you know. And the first thing you run into is that guy on the bus
who's carrying the odor from the day before,
who doesn't seem to ever wash his hair.
Easy as fuck.
Yeah, and you're surprised that he's
looking and smelling like plop. It brings you down. It does.
You know, it actually does. You know, it is quite a depressing thing, isn't it?
It's like, what is that?
I've got slowly more depressed over this video.
Sorry about that. But how do I react to this? Politeness, or do I break social norms? Do I do a social taboo and call you out and risk embarrassing you, even though that's not my fault?
Yes.
Have you ever forgotten to brush your teeth?
I mean, but not on a work day. No, because not on a work. Because on a work day, it's in my head. It's like
routine. You've got a routine.
I'm to breakfast, teeth. You know, shower. Yeah, clean of some description. Get the flannel out. You know, get the soap. Soap, people. Soap. You're not made of sugar. You're not going to disintegrate. You know. But if I'm on the weekend, maybe it's different. Yeah. But I'm still going to brush my teeth, if not straight away. You know. Do you know what is annoying as well? Is when they say, "Why didn't you tell me?" And you kind of think, "Why do you think I didn't tell you?" If they're like, "Oh man, why didn't anyone say I'm smelly?" You think, "What? How would you like it?" You know, if someone just came to you and said,
"Oh, you stink."
Thanks. You know,
You're insulting someone. But this is where we get back to this thing of I don't believe that if someone is really, not so much the breath thing I suppose, but if they're really ponging and people can smell them 3 feet away, or they can if someone can smell you when you've entered the room, that's bad.
That's an issue.
Don't tell me you can't smell yourself.
That is an
I don't
issue.
believe that. I think you're testing me. You're testing the boundary. You're seeing. Let me see. You're seeing how. Let's see how polite people will be.
Yeah,
Let's conduct an experiment to see how much they can tolerate before someone's going to call me out on my disgustingness. Because it's a lot easier for me to keep going in my unclean way than me change my habits. Am I going to say something or am I not? That depends largely on how much it affects me and how I feel about you. To be honest with you, 'cause to be honest, if I like you, I might let it slide once. And then if the person gets upset because they feel disrespected, that's wrong. Because I feel like you've disrespected yourself. I didn't try to disrespect you. You've put someone in a position where they've had to tell you about something that you should be taking care of. You should be having enough respect for yourself not to put yourself in a position where people can tell you smell bad. Yuck. You're gross. Don't make me talk about that.